The bottom line is we want to see greater participation in our government.
Candidate for the county commission, Ann Taylor, presented the Your County, Your Voice initiative at a recent meeting.
Here's the change she's proposing.
Evening meetings for every other meeting for the Board of County Commissioners and a starting time of 6 p.m.
She's running for Henry Dean's seat.
We hear a number of residents who work full-time say that they do wish that some of these commissioner meetings were during the evening and that they feel left out of the process. And that's really unfair to our tax-paying residents.
She proposed this initiative along with Anne Marie Evans, who's running for Christian Whitehurst's seat. She added that this proposal would move public comments to the beginning of commissioners' meetings.
One of the things that happens is people come in, and a lot of times our time certain is anything but time certain. It actually should be called time uncertain, because it gets moved around occasionally, and people leave here mad, sad, they weren't heard, they took time off from work, so it's just a really disrespectful way to treat our community.
I asked Henry Dean what he thinks.
If we want to have every meeting at 6 p.m., if we want to continue the way we are, I don't have my heels dug in on either position. You know, there's risk in having evening meetings. We start at 9 a.m., and we've had meetings that go until 5 p.m. That's 8 hours. Let's assume we start at 6 p.m. 2 a.m. is when we would finish.
Commissioner Christian Whitehurst told me,
in the counties where they have evening meetings, they get a lot of complaints from people who have children in activities who can't attend meetings. And then you are well aware of some of the 8 to 10 hour meetings that we've been having. That would put us well past midnight. And if you consider who's proposing these changes in the political season that we're in, I question if they've studied whether it be a good idea or not.
Tune in tomorrow for the opinions of Krista Joseph, Roy Alamo, and more candidates for commissioner. For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Liz Ryan.
This local news is a service of your hometown Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow you.
One of the things that coastal Florida has been struggling with in the last couple of decades is the degradation of water quality, especially in the estuary, from here all the way down to Indian River Lagoon.
Whitney Lab for Marine Bioscience is working to restore water quality and reestablish local fisheries.
Dr. Mark Martindale says their team is using new technologies to undo decades of damage.
A lot of it has to do with the fact that the water quality is so poor that the sun doesn't get to the bottom of the ocean, and then the seagrass can't grow. So imagine, the grass not being able to grow in your yard. Nothing can sort of live off of that kind of an environment.
Martindale says they're working to restore the natural equilibrium in the environment.
And that starts off with filter-feeding organisms like clams and oysters. And so we've been repopulating clams and oysters into the Matanzas River and the Indian River Lagoon because they filter 50 gallons of water a day, and that takes harmful algae out of the water column, providing the light to let the seagrass grow.
And Martindale says it's working.
Since we have made some substantial headway and we've started thinking down the line to now repopulating sport fish, now that the water quality is improved, we can actually repatriate local sport fish like snook and red drum and red snapper and things like that into the local environment.
Whitney Lab teams have reintroduced more than 1 million clams to the Matanzas River and about 30 million more in the Indian River. Martindale says they've also released about 100,000 redfish so far. For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Daryl Moody.
There's a short-term closure of the Tillman Ridge Transfer Station.
The Tillman Ridge Transfer Station, located at 3005 Allen Neese Road, Elkton, is scheduled to be closed for repairs of the tipping floor beginning Saturday. Megan Whitlock, Public Affairs Specialist for St. Johns County.
And that closure will be happening June 1st until June 30th. Normal operations at the transfer center are expected to resume on July 1st.
There are some restrictions during the closure, even for residents.
Only residential household hazardous waste will be accepted from residents during that temporary closure, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
And if you need access to a transfer station in the meantime,
if people do need to go to a transfer station during this month, the Stratton Road transfer station will be fully open and operational. That is located at 250 North Stratton Road in St. Augustine. It is open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m.
For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
And now you're up to date with St. Augustine's Local Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.